Today's video I'm going to start masking this off. I'm going to try and mask all the green off so I don't get overspray. I'm going to try and spray the frame, the firewall. I'm going to mask this off here, and I think I'm just going to paint from here up green. You know, this just a little bit here was black, and it was green under it. I don't know, I just think it would look nicer if this was green and then that black down there. So that's kind of the way I'm going to do it. You know, it's a Sunday and the auto body supply place is closed, so, and I don't have any body caulk, so I'll do that next week, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, caulk that. And I also ordered a quart of black urethane from Eastwood. The paint shop wanted almost $200 for the paint with the reducer and the hardener, and I got it through Eastwood with shipping for $90. But it, you know, it'll take 4 or 5 days to get here, so no big deal. You know, that'll allow that paint to dry before I, you know, so I can mask on that. And I still got a steering gear, so I guess while I'm waiting on the paint, I'll start tearing into the steering gear, and we'll do a little video on that. And also, so yeah, Steve, I never got that alternator pulley. It must have got lost in the mail. But I took the old pulley and cleaned it up, and true to Ford, there's a part number on the back of it. And I talked to a former co-worker friend of mine, ex-neighbor too, that was the parts manager at a local Ford dealer, and I was able to get the part number off of this old pulley, and he was able to get me a brand spanking new, that's the Ford part number, pulley, and it was only $10. So I'm gonna give this a bead blast so I can paint it, and paint the fan, and that'll be the, you know, it'll beat this rusted out one, that's for sure. So that'll be the new alternator pulley, and I'll get the alternator finished up. And I got water pump pulley too, so I'm going to get that painted and this painted all at the same time. And these are going to be the gloss black acrylic enamel, and I just think it'll look nice, so just kind of wanted to show what I got going on here with that. I masked off where the urethane is going to be, because the Rustoleum and the urethane are not compatible. I don't want to get Rustoleum on any of the part that's going to be urethane, because then when I go to paint it, it'll just crinkle or get rough, or, you know, just be nasty. So essentially what you see is going to be Rustoleum. I stuffed a bunch of newspaper up in under the dash inside the car to keep overspray from going inside. That hole there for the wiper motor just goes into the cowl. It does not go into the interior of the car, but I'm not painting above that seam there. Came out good. So I got the frame and the floor pans and everything painted all the way to the diff. When I painted the firewall, I put it on kind of thin there so that that number will still show up. It's like a grease pencil, so it shows through the paint, which is kind of nice. What's not painted above there is going to be body color. I just decided to do it that way. I don't know, I just thought it might look, I can always paint over it, you know, it's no big deal. It can be painted over black in the future. And what's nice with this Rustoleum too, it can be touched up really easy. So if I scratch it or mess it up putting things together, I can touch it up, and it's super easy to touch up. You never even know it was repaired. Yeah, the undercarriage came out really nice. I got to paint from the axle back yet, but there isn't much light under here. But yeah, I mean, Ford originally painted the undercarriage, and they must have painted it like when the floor pans were laying, you know, sitting like they're in the car, because all these drips that you can see were the factory paint, and it looks really good. Really super happy with it. When the motor transmission are up in there, it's gonna look nice. Yeah, it's gonna make for a nice summer cruiser when it's done, everything done up nice. So now I can start, I can put these brackets back on for the engine, I can put the suspension back together, the backing plates on, start running brakes and put hydraulic lines on and stuff. And then, and like I say, I ordered the paint for these. It'll probably be about 4 or 5 days before I get the paint. And in the meantime, I can, start. I gotta go through the steering gear, so maybe I'll do that while this dries. Or I can, I can put stuff together too. I can do a lot. I can do, but that's a big step. When you start putting paint on things, that's a big step in restoration. I think in the next week I might get this the body color too, and I'll probably paint the inside of the fenders first and the underside of the hood and the underside. Well, I'll do the trunk lid when I get to that part, but I might paint the inside of the fenders and strip the paint off first, so if any paint stripper goes through the holes, it doesn't ruin the the paint on the inside. So I'll strip them, prime them, and then I'll paint the insides green. And there is a little, it shows up in the other video, but there's this little crease right here, that little bump there. I think something must have pushed that in there is what caused that to cause a misalignment, but it's a little crease down the door there too. And then there's some door dings that I gotta fix. Once I get the door panel off, might be able to get in there. If there's not a big brace down there, crash brace, I can probably tap most of that out and get the fender off. I think that's right where the brace, I think the brace is right here. So, and this is right here. So I might be able to bump that, but if I can't, I just put a little filler in it. It's so minor. I mean, it's almost not even noticeable. And so, yeah, looking good. And again, body caulk, it's still got a lot to do, but that is a huge step. Looks a lot better. I should find some video of when I first did it, and then, or when I first took the motor out, so you can see the before. I mean, it was needed work. It was pretty rough looking, but it cleaned up pretty good. It was mostly just dirt and crud. A lot of it I just scraped out the razor knife and then sanded it out. It cleaned up nice. And I think I'm going to call it a day too. And in the end of some of these videos, I put that tree, and that Christmas tree. That was in my dad's backyard back in the 80s. He had one of these ginormous perch it on your shoulders VHS camcorders. I think it was an RCA, I don't remember. And it probably weighed 25, 30 pounds with the battery and everything, and a big VHS cassette. And anyway, he liked to play with it and different lighting and different, cold, warm, whatever. And so he was out there videoing a tree. That tree I cut down out of a coworker's front yard. He wanted it removed. And I just cut it down and took it and staked it up in my dad's backyard. There's just held up with some stakes. And then just gobbed the C9s on it. I think it had 12, 25 light sets on it. So that's a lot of current that it was, drawing at 9¼ watts a bulb. Do the math. So anyway, that's it. If you like my video, hit the like button. If you want to see this cool Galaxie restored, subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching. Yeah, it came out nice. Painted even inside the spring pockets, inside the frame there, everything.